Welcome back to Moving with Meaning. I'm your host, Krystal. We are right in the middle of our October Fearless Leadership Series, a month all about stripping away the mask, meeting fear head on, and leading with unapologetic confidence. Then in Glow Getter, we reclaimed our confidence in the rooms where we once felt unseen. But today, today, we're going even deeper than that. This one's called Fail Forward. Because sometimes it's not the fear of failing that holds us back, it's the fear of fully thriving. Or, in other words, fear of success. Now, be real. Most hesitation isn't laziness or lack of ambition, it's protection. Fear loves to dress itself up as not right now. This is just not the right time. Or I just need more data. That's me. Or I'll do it after this next project, the delay. But underneath the hesitation, a deeper story, one that whispers, what if I succeed and can't sustain it? Or what if success changes how people see me? Oh my gosh, this is so true in so many ways. You have no idea, or well, maybe you do. Today, we're unpacking that story, not to shame it, but to outgrow it. So, let's go ahead and look at what we are going to be talking about in this episode. How fear shows up as self-sabotage. The messy mix of success guilt, imposter syndrome, and upper limit beliefs. And how to create emotional safety around winning, evolving, and receiving. Yes, fear of success is like being afraid of the view at the top of the mountain. You've trained, climbed, and earned it. But when you finally get there, you start worrying you'll slip. So instead of enjoying the victory and that view, you hold your breath and brace for the fall. It's not the success itself that scares you, it's what comes after it. The pressure to maintain it, the visibility it brings, or the fear that you'll no longer have room to rest. Okay, here's this episode summary of today's focus because we got to get into this. I hope y'all are excited, so let's kick it off. When you disrupt the deeper fear behind hesitation, you stop negotiating with your potential. You stop hiding behind over-preparing and overthinking. You start leading with trust in yourself, in your timing, and in your capacity to handle what success brings. All right, let's get into the good stuff. Because when you start naming the fear under the hesitation, the energy shifts from what if I fail to what if this actually works? Benefit number one. Build real resilience. Once you stop seeing failure as a threat and start viewing it as feedback, you bounce back faster and lead with more grit and grace. Yes, grit, that's the resilience. But here's the point of this particular benefit is that we're talking about real resilience. So yes, we talk about emotional resilience and all these other kind of things, right? And sometimes we're saying we are resilient, but we're never really truly holding on to that, right? There's hesitations where we can easily fall back. When we're talking about real resilience, you are looking forward to failure in a sense, right? Because it's going to teach you something. It's going to always make you better. No one is perfect. You're always going to hit a roadblock or you're going to always have to make some kind of detour, right? And it's about responding to that, not freaking out, not saying, oh my God, the world's on fire and all those things. You may be doing it internally, right? But as a leader, you show the poise, okay? Let's figure this out and figure out what we're gonna do, right? And that's the grace about having real resilience, okay? Because you take the time to pause, to think, and there you go, right? We're not rushing to decisions because we know we don't have to. We're thriving as it is. Let's just keep that momentum going. All right, benefit number two, expand capacity. You stop treating success like borrowed luck and start recognizing it as earned growth. That shift builds confidence that sticks. And we talk about things like this, all right? About things, that once you put something in practice and it becomes habit, that's when it sticks. Okay. And so when you start to look at success completely different, it's like changing the lens on this. All right. You're not looking at this saying, man, I lucked up on this position or lucked up on this role versus I earned it. I earned this. I put in the work, I put in the hours, I went through all the trials and tribulations and challenges that went through this at every step of the way. Are there people who have gotten it based on, what do we say, on like nepotism, right? You know somebody and that's how you got in. You were friendly with, the boss or whatever else, and you're there for them when they're talking and stuff like that. So you just got promoted on the fact that you're a good friend and a good person. But as far as the work is concerned, as far as the intelligence, as far as being qualified for that position that you get promoted for, I don't know. So you can definitely see folks who's like skip different levels and things like that. You got to work with them anyway. But at the end of the day, like I said before, is that this just widens your capacity, because now you have, again, like I said before, more in your toolkit to use, to teach, to coach, and to put into practice. All right, number 3, last one, unlock momentum. When hesitation loses its hold, progress becomes natural. You move with clarity instead of caution. And that's when leadership gets real powerful. Yes. I mean, let me tell you something. I have been in a position where I had to make a decision. Like everyone was looking at me and kind of saying, what do you do? And when I say everyone, I purposely am sitting in certain meetings and I'm just sitting there. I'm not doing nothing. And I'm listening to them talk and carrying on. And I'm engaged in the conversation. It's just I don't have anything to say, right? And so everyone's kind of throwing out different ideas. And then they get to the point, and I remember this client, we were throwing ideas, and I was just sitting there. And the client looked at me and said, well, what does Krystal think? I want to know what she thinks, because that's what I would go with. And then I just said, oh, okay, this is what you guys should be doing and why. Like, I don't just say what you should do, I explain why. And then they literally said, okay, that's what we'll do. And I'm like, look, y'all to put me in a position to make these dang on calls, whatever. Now, that call was made off of experience, but sometimes I get asked these questions and I have to say, this is what I would do given these knowns, right? And it at least puts us in a position where we can recover from, et cetera, et cetera. So, and then there are other cases where I'm like, I don't know, let's just take a vote. Like, you know what I mean? And so when you are in the position where you're leading and you're truly leading from clarity, when you can explain your decision, you're not just making it and say, well, looks like half the room says, okay, this one, let's test this one, we're gonna go with this one. Don't do that, right? Evaluate and think. But again, it's the momentum of being able to make decisions and be clear and confident in them, even if they don't work out. Even if they don't work out, because that's where your real resilience comes in. Ain't that so? All right, now let's bring that off the whiteboard and into real life. Fear doesn't just show up in corporate meetings, it sneaks into relationships, opportunities, and how we see ourselves. All right, we're gonna go with the first persona, which is a professional one, the director who doubts. So, Leah, a corporate director, keeps passing up speaking opportunities because she fears she'll stumble under the spotlight. She's confident, experienced, and respected, but deep down, visibility still feels unsafe. So, once she reframes it as a platform for impact, not performance, her confidence grows naturally. And I like that, right? Because it was naturally grown. So you take one step into a space and you just keep going and you naturally build that confidence. It naturally comes through and you won't even realize that, wow. I mean, I'm serious. Like at this one point I had to I did a reflection period at the end of the year, like I'm telling y'all to do. And I go back to kind of, here are all the wins I did. And then I add them. I'm like, I didn't realize I was speaking at so many things. I did not realize I was teaching so many people or being asked to do and present trainings and stuff like that. I didn't realize I was asked to be an advisor in all these programs. Wow. That's a lot, right? And it was just from speaking up one time and stepping into my toe into something. It moved people to the point where it's like, who is she? Let me know her name. And I got a few things going on that I want to place her. Or if I do have an opportunity, my name is the first thing that pops into their mind. So do not doubt yourself, okay? You are competent, you are experienced, you are respected, because I know why. Let me tell you why. If you are cautious and you are concerned about stumbling, right? You're ready. You are ready, because you wouldn't have that concern if you knew, like, you wouldn't have that concern if you thought everything was okay and ready to go, right? You want to do great, so you have covered all those avenues of, you know what I mean? So just think of it that way, is that when you have that feeling, recognize that feeling and say, oh, this is what that is. I'm ready, I'm prepared. Just that stage fright. All I gotta do is step on there and the switch flips. All right, next persona. The entrepreneur, the builder who second guesses. Marcus, a small business owner, hesitates to expand his company even when success is clear. He worries that growth will mean losing control or balance. Learning to redefine success as sustainability, not scale, helps him move forward without burnout. Right. So yes, please. So it's not so much about second guessing that's an issue here per se, right? It's just when people have to make certain choices, because when they expand, they are also expanding their responsibility and capacity. So for people who are like home bakers, when they're in their home, right, and baking and things like that, they're on their own time. Okay. When they do a brick and mortar and they open up a shop, okay, you say 8, I'm gonna be open to 8 to whatever timeline, you got to be there. And then you have to be there early, because you have to put stuff out for display. You have to be there at the counter. What if you have to hire workers and things like that? Trust me, I've been to establishments where they said they open at 10, and I sat out there and waited, and it was almost till 10:30 or 11 when that person walked in to open that door. That is not good. So just understand about the capacity and the sustainability piece, and just get that underworks, right? And sometimes that's where a career growth coach comes into play, right? To help you really just understand all the ins and outs of what growth means and where you want to go and where you want to be. That's all, just to prepare. All right, next one. This is the personal one. The friend, the empath who shrinks. All right, Jasmine, the friend everyone goes to for advice. Avoid sharing her own wins. She worries it'll sound like bragging, so she downplays her achievements. When she learns to celebrate without comparison, she models authentic confidence in her circle. So here's the thing. I think this is going to naturally happen regardless. Doesn't matter. You can shout yourself out from the rooftops and things like that. People are going to just, if they're not for you, they're not going to celebrate with you. Okay. Or they're going to look at certain ways of how they're going to say what their achievements are to combat yours. But let me be clear. When I do that, I am shouting out me. I am proud of everyone else's achievements, because they're on their path to their goal. Even if I'm on my path to my goal, I'm reaching it sooner, or they're reaching it sooner. It's just in their plan. It's what they are capable of doing at that pace. That's it. If you are two different people with two different accountabilities and responsibilities and things going on in your life. And so what your achievement is, it may be to get a master's degree or whatever else or something like that. That ain't mine. Mine is to be, an IT professional, a data management professional, and to train and do all these other things. So mine may be to be an executive, right? Really a C-suite executive, while someone else's is just, I'm here to help the community. We both are meeting our objectives, but if you're talking about looking at the paychecks, that's going to be different, and that is not fair. Okay, so just think about that. You're not bragging, all right? And a lot of times when I do things and someone tells me about themselves, I'm like really ecstatic for them, because I'm like, that's all, you're on your goal, girl. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy. What's next? That's what I do, because I just don't want anyone to kind of feel like I'm sharing my accomplishments because I'm so happy, and I'm sharing them with you because you're my friend, and you've been on that journey with me. All right, the next one, the partner, the supporter who hides. Evan, a loving spouse, often takes the back seat to avoid overshadowing his partner's success. Over time, he realizes his dimming light doesn't make anyone shine brighter, it only dims the room. Reclaiming his presence strengthens both their growth. And this happens in quite a bit of couples, right? Is where you may have one that is, even though they're supportive, they still feel like it's almost like they're still competing with you, even though you're a team, right? So when I win, we all win, right? And if you're not having as great of a success as your partner, it doesn't mean that, that partner needs to like shrink so that you feel better. That's not fair to them. You wouldn't want to do that to someone you love, right? You want to see them grow. You want to be happy. But what you're doing has nothing to do with what they're doing, okay? Them growing and doing all this stuff is not them coming back and saying anything. If they're supporting you in your space and you are just, like I said, you're just on a different path, right? You're slower to get to something. Maybe you're less of a risk taker. The other partner is more of one, and the risks are paying off, and that doesn't fit you, right? And so if you're kind of saying, okay, this is what, if I share with my partner, this is what you need to do, and they're like, yeah, I'm comfortable with that. I said, that's fine. It'll just be slower. You'll get there. It just won't happen as fast, right? And that still doesn't sit comfortable with them. But listen, these are things that people have to work out on their own, because as much as we are together, we are still individualized, right? See that credit score? We probably share the same bank account, share this and that. But when that credit come back, they look at your income compared to our debt alone. And if your income is low and our debt is whatever, you're going to rate lower versus me rating higher, because they don't look at it together. They're like, individuals. So think of it that way. You need to go ahead and look at yourself, not someone else, okay? Just as long as your partner is supportive. That's all that matters. All right, now if this all sounds familiar, you're not alone. We've all been there, halfway between ready and terrified. But what makes this so tricky? Well, let's put them on blast. All right, number one, success hangover. Some leaders secretly fear what happens after the win. The pressure to repeat success or top it can turn achievement into anxiety. And true, I've had this, right, where I've succeeded, okay, and I want another one, or whatever else. Like I'm looking for the next one. I'm looking for the next challenge, and so I never really necessarily get complacent. Now I am. I'm like I just want some stability. But at one point, I couldn't stay somewhere for too long that didn't challenge me, because that's just in my head. I'm like, I need a new challenge. I need a new challenge, because I feel like that was my value. That was my worth, was overcoming challenges. Right? I just put it in my tool bag, and I had these stories to say, this is what I did here. This is what I did here. So yeah, you do have some success hangovers, and it's just something you have to recognize and acknowledge to work through it. Second one we got is comparison trap. It's easy to lose your rhythm when you start measuring your progress against someone else's highlight reel. The chase for better often buries your enough. Woo! Listen, you are all enough, okay? Like I said, you are on your own journey. You don't need to be on theirs. You can ask them and see, hey, what are you doing? And you can see how you can apply any of those items or advice or suggestions to what you're doing and to where you're going. But their journey and their goal is completely different than yours, truly. And so what you're doing, it is enough. It's always going in the direction that you want it to be, okay? Last one we got is emotional overdraft. Constantly giving, leading, and showing up for others without replenishing yourself drains the emotional balance needed to take brave risks. It does. It does. Some of us get so overwhelmed that it's like, look, I'm just going to stay where I'm at right now because I'm tired. I am tired. I have these kids. Some people are like, I'm just going to wait till the kids get done with their stuff because I'm such an active parent. Or I have so many things going on with my parents, being sick, or some loved ones I'm taking care of, and all these other times. And it's just like, just the time just don't seem right ever for me. And it's just time to take a pause. Take a pause and see what you can do. What step, even a micro move, can I make that I can do and contain within all of this, right? It's there. It's possible. You just got to take the moment to think about it. So, how do we move from frozen to fearless? By making courage a practice and a leadership advantage, not a performance. Here are a few strategies to get you going. Number one, name the narrative. Identify the fear beneath hesitation and say it out loud. Awareness breaks its spell. Yes, I was fear of success. When I wrote my book, I literally did not want to publish it. It was done, it had been done, and I was just scared. What if nobody likes it? What if this? What if that? I was concerned with, whoa, if I just put it out there, who's going to notice it and stuff like that. So I didn't do all of the research, but I was just afraid that people would like it and then they would demand more out of me. More, and which it did, like social media posts and all this other stuff to promote it. And I have yet to do that, but 2026 is coming and that's the plan. So do it, right? Now that I named it, I literally started putting plans together to do that. Amazing how that works, ain't it? Strategy number two, rehearse success. Visualize thriving, not just surviving. Get emotionally familiar with what winning feels like, right? So this is the inverse. So we talked about identifying feelings when you are exhausted, when you're burning, getting to burnout, all of the negative ones, right? But what does it feel like when you're winning, right? Get familiar with that, because when you are there, you are thriving. That in itself is a celebratory moment, okay? That in itself is saying, I'm on it today. I'm here where I'm supposed to be because I feel it in my bones. You understand? Right? We're not just surviving out here. We're thriving because we've put ourselves in positions and places and spaces where we can achieve the goals and the milestones that we want and need. All right? Last strategy, anchor in authenticity. When decisions align with your values, fear loses its leverage. Amen, don't it though? So like I said, let me tell you this. One of my values is dependability. Okay? And I know I named 3 last time, but dependability is one thing. Basically, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I say I'm not going to do something, I'm not going to do it. It's very simple, okay? If I tell my kids I'm going to do this, or if I tell my friends this will happen, don't worry about it, this and that, I literally live up to it. I truly do. Now, there are other friends that take advantage of that. And so when I say, no, I cannot do that, when they're used to me saying, yes, I can, all of a sudden I'm a bad friend. I got to make sure that in my head, I'm true to who I am. I'm just not a servant to you. My life does not revolve around you. So you fit in where the space for me is, and I get to choose when that is and when that isn't. Boundaries. All right. Before we wrap up, I want you to sit with this one for the week, because the goal isn't to dodge fear. It's to dance with it, boo. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens in those brave little moments where you choose to move away. So take this reminder with you. Fear isn't the enemy of success. It's the doorway to it. Every stumble, every hesitation, every almost is proof that you're stretching beyond who you were yesterday. The goal isn't to erase fear. It's to move with it, learn from it, and let it shape you into a braver version of yourself. Remember, sometimes the real fear isn't falling short. It's rising beyond who you thought you were allowed to be. All right. I love that. It was strong and powerful, but we are running out of time, so I got to get up out of here. As a reminder, if you want more of me that delve into deeper topics, check out my podcast, Moving With Me in the Podcast. I'm on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Music. Check out my website, movingwithmeaning.com. Also, if you are interested in my path to emotional resilience, I wrote my business memoir that takes you on my 8-year journey in a tough IT culture. You can find it on Amazon by the title Embrace the Code, Cultivating Emotional Resilience in a Tough IT Culture. Here is my graphic with all of my social media connections. Hit your girl up or just follow along. Maybe something will pop out at you. Also, if you are particularly inspired by any of my conversations or episodes and think this would be a good match for your next event, I'm your gal. I will speak. Or you're interested in converting this into a workshop, I got you covered. Think team building exercises. Perhaps this is right in line with your own experience and want to partner with me to add a bit more oxygen to that spark. I'm a coach. Maybe finding the right words for your own memoir or ebook has you all balled up in knots. Well, I'm the ghostwriter that can put your thoughts and ideas to paper. If any of those strike your interest or you just want to talk opportunities, take the first step and book me completely free using this QR code. Yes, I have enjoyed y'all today and this episode, so I hope that message hits home with you. And if not, or it does, share it with somebody, right? Other than that, I'm gonna get you on the next one, all right? So don't forget, fail forward, glow brighter, and lead from the version of you that's already thriving. Until I see you again, just keep moving.